streets of the unknown, where the logic breathes and the data flows. We question what the code has shown, and spark the light when no one goes. Clearly learned voices collide.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're plunging into a subject that's maybe a bit darker than our usual explorations of fascinating phenomena and, cutting-edge research.
Mm-hmm.
We often talk about the unknown, the mysterious things that expand our understanding, right?
Absolutely.
But what happens when that human curiosity, that desire for connection, or even just searching for answers in, unconventional places, runs headfirst into something genuinely disturbing?
That's a really crucial question. While we celebrate exploring the fringes and the open-mindedness it encourages, we also have to acknowledge the very real vulnerabilities.
Right.
Vulnerabilities that can emerge when trust is misplaced, or worse, deliberately exploited.
Exactly. So today we're embarking on a deep dive into something pretty unique and frankly quite alarming. It's the FrandsenFiles Criminal Dossier.
Yeah.
And this isn't just some casual collection of notes. This is a meticulously compiled document. It was born from a very specific, very pressing need.
Right. Created by Dakota Frandsen and the Bald and Bonkers Network, LLC.
Precisely. Through their extensive work, in paranormal and spiritual investigations, they started noticing this deeply troubling recurring pattern.
A pattern of criminal behavior.
Yeah, criminal behavior surfacing within these communities. Supernatural, UFOs, New Age stuff, spiritualism. It's a stark reminder, really.
It is. Even in spaces that seem open and supportive, there can be these dangerous undercurrents.
So what's really compelling about how this dossier started is Frandsen's background, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. His background as a bounty hunter directly informed its creation. And that experience, it's not just about tracking people down.
No.
It's about developing a highly practical, investigative mindset. It's about seeing patterns, understanding criminal intent, and knowing how to document evidence, in a way that can actually be used.
Right, usable evidence.
It's a pragmatic approach, proactive, which is needed for what's clearly become a pervasive problem in these specific communities.
And that pragmatic, proactive approach is exactly what we're going to examine today. Our mission, really, is to meticulously unpack the public version of this dossier.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, for legal reasons, privacy reasons, this version censors the names.
Right, they're redacted.
But even with those redactions, it provides critical, often chilling insights into the kinds of troubling activities happening out there.
It really does.
The main goal of this document, and our deep dive today, is to raise public awareness and, crucially, to assist law enforcement agencies in their investigations.
Yeah, that's key.
So we're here to guide you through this complex, sometimes unsettling material, focusing on the implications, the need for discernment for anyone, engaging with these fields. Let's really dig into this.
Okay, so to understand the scope, the FrandsenFiles Criminal Dossier is, at its core, an investigative registry.
An investigative registry.
Okay, its central purpose is to systematically document and, frankly, expose the various criminal behaviors that Frandsen and the Bald and Bonkers Network have encountered.
And there's a real concern about this stuff growing.
There is a palpable growing concern within these communities, from casual ghost hunters to, serious spiritual seekers. People are worried about fraud, harassment, various forms of abuse.
It seems to be increasing.
It does. And this dossier, it isn't just an internal record. It's designed to serve as both a deterrent, hopefully, and a concrete resource for public awareness, yes, but also for direct intervention by law enforcement.
So it's not just about, isolated bad actors. It's seen as the systemic issue needing a structured response.
Exactly. And the origins really drive that home. Frandsen's motivation, it stems from repeated unfortunate encounters with a whole laundry list of malicious activities.
Like what kind of things are we talking about?
Well, deceptive practices, criminal harassment, stalking, outright violence, sexually abusive behaviors, pervasive verbal abuse. The list goes on. It paints a pretty stark picture.
It really does.
And while Bald and Bonkers operates in entertainment and investigation, exploring the unexplained.
Right, sharing experiences.
Yeah. This dossier aims to draw a very clear line. It distinguishes that genuine work from exploitation that preys on people, separating, the seekers from the exploiters.
That makes sense. Maybe that distinction. So how does this fit with their other work? They had a blacklist before, didn't they?
They did. And that's an important point. The dossier isn't entirely standalone. It's actually an official expansion of what was the Bald and Bonkers blacklist.
Okay, so it grew out of that.
Right. but it's crucial to distinguish them. The blacklist was primarily focused on internal operational bans, people not allowed at their events or on their platforms, often for just being disruptive or untrustworthy.
Kind of an internal do not engage list.
Exactly. The dossier, though, broadens that scope significantly. It's specifically designed to track individuals engaged in harmful or illegal activities across the wider paranormal and spiritual communities.
Oh, so beyond just their own network.
Far beyond. It emphasizes public acknowledgement and accountability for those who manipulate and exploit. It's a real shift from an internal thing to a public safety initiative.
That's a critical difference. And when you talk public safety, the legal side, public access, that gets tricky, right?
It does, and they've addressed that with a unique dual-level access system.
Okay, how does that work?
So the version we're discussing, the public one, has all identifying info encrypted. Names, specific locations sometimes.
To avoid legal trouble, protect privacy.
Precisely. But it still fulfills the core mission of public awareness. But here's the key part. A full, uncensored version, they call it the Codex.
The Codex.
That's made available only to law enforcement and relevant authorities.
Ah, okay. So the agencies who can actually act on it get the full details.
Exactly. It ensures the public is warned, but the critical details needed for investigations, for prosecutions, they're fully accessible to those who need them most. And Bonkers has stated a strong commitment to full cooperation with agencies.
This seems like a smart way to handle it, balancing awareness and action.
And the key objectives, the intended impact, are pretty clear. First, awareness and protection, educating the public on how these movements can be misused.
Okay.
Second, accountability. A structured system for tracking repeat offenders who might otherwise slip through the cracks.
Right, because these communities can be quite transient sometimes.
They can. Third, and maybe most critical, is law enforcement collaboration, sharing crucial documented data to actually assist investigations and prosecutions.
Making it easier for them to connect the dots.
Hopefully. And finally, deterrence, increasing the risk of exposure, making it riskier for malicious actors to operate.
So pulling it all together, the vision is pretty ambitious.
Yeah.
And frankly, seems urgently needed.
It does. It's presented as a critical step towards safeguarding people. People just seeking knowledge or community or spiritual engagement.
Yeah.
By actively addressing fraud, abuse, criminal actions, the aim is a safer, more transparent environment. It's a structured, proactive fight against exploitation in fields that, unfortunately, attract both genuine seekers and dangerous opportunists.
Okay, now a key part of making this actionable is how they assess the risk. Right, this threat level classification system.
Yes, exactly. It's a 5-tier scale, designed for consistent assessment, categorization, and it's based on documented behavior, credible reports, official records. It's not arbitrary.
Not just a gut feeling.
No, it's a tool for clarity on the potential for harm. It provides a common language for assessing risk across very different cases.
Okay, let's break that down then. Level 1.
Threat level 1 is observational risk. This applies when someone shows behavioral, psychological, or maybe environmental indicators that suggest malicious intent or future criminal potential.
Suggests.
Yeah.
So no confirmed crime yet?
Exactly. No confirmed criminal behavior yet, but enough red flags to warrant attention. The action is basically monitor, watch for changes, escalation. Think of it as an early warning.
Got it. Like putting someone on the radar. What about level 2?
Threat level 2 is elevated concern. Here, the person has already shown minor criminal activity or consistent behavioral red flags that strongly suggest, future, more serious offenses.
Okay, so it's escalating.
Right. They might be associating with known offenders operating in high-risk environments. The recommended action steps up. Surveillance, background checks, maybe potential intervention where possible and legal. It's about recognizing those patterns before they lead to significant harm.
Makes sense. Then level 3.
Threat level 3 is confirmed offender. This means the subject has a documented history of criminal activity, specifically harmful, abusive, or exploitative behavior.
So they've definitely crossed a line.
Definitely. A risk is present, but it might not be immediately severe or ongoing right now. But their past actions are confirmed criminal. The recommendation is active case review, coordinating with agencies for risk management. They've gone from potential to proven harm.
Okay. And then it gets even more serious, I assume. Level 4.
Threat level 4 is high threat. Now we're talking serious crimes, specifically involving harm to vulnerable persons, children, animals, the elderly.
Right.
Their behavior strongly suggests a very high probability of recidivism, meaning they're highly likely to offend again.
So ongoing danger.
Yes. The action recommended is urgent. A strong recommendation for active investigation, legal action, protective intervention. These individuals pose an ongoing direct threat. It's about present and future danger needing immediate mitigation.
Wow. And the highest level, level 5.
Threat level 5 is critical threat. This is reserved for subjects confirmed to be highly dangerous, people who have caused significant, often irreversible harm to individuals, maybe even communities.
And what defines them further?
Often, a demonstrated lack of remorse or restraint makes it highly likely they will offend again if given any chance. The action here is immediate, decisive, direct coordination with law enforcement. Considering containment, arrest, intensive monitoring, it's about stopping immediate, profound danger.
It's a sobering system.
Yeah.
But you can see why it's necessary. It provides that clear, actionable framework, doesn't it?
It does. It moves beyond just listing incidents to providing a structured way to assess and manage risk in these often vulnerable communities.
Okay, with that framework in mind, let's dive into some of the actual entries. This is where, the abstract threat levels really hit home. We'll unpack individual cases that illustrate the behaviors this dossier combats.
Yeah, and remember, names are redacted in this public version. Privacy, legal reasons. But the patterns, the insights, they're very real and often deeply troubling.
These aren't just isolated incidents either, are they?
No. As we explore them, you'll see these patterns, sometimes interconnected networks of exploitation and harm, especially in communities where trust is often, freely given.
Let's start with one of the most disturbing case, #00001, classified threat level 3, confirmed offender, location, Southern Idaho. The list of crimes here is just extensive.
Yeah.
Drug possession, use, animal cruelty, child abuse, attempted murder of a child neglect, forcing a child to endure sexual abuse, child abandonment. Documented criminal record.
Yeah, it's grim.
Description: 4'10", tattoos of kids' names, brunette, missing teeth, possible bipolar schizophrenic tendencies, Caucasian.
The summary is particularly dark. This individual has a long association with cycles of child abuse, possibly stemming from her own childhood and maybe a genetic disposition.
A tragic cycle.
At just 16, she got involved with a known male sexual deviant, history of LSD use. In one shocking incident, she tried to kill her 3-year-old son to resolve police and custody issues. The child fought back, injured her.
Gosh.
Later, evidence suggested the same partner sexually assaulted her firstborn daughter. There was speculation she might have allowed it to avoid being targeted herself. Police lacked evidence for charges, though.
That's horrifying.
After regaining custody, she allegedly relapsed into drugs, abandoned her kids with grandparents, lived in drug bends. There's even unconfirmed speculation she poisoned the children's pet dog. This exemplifies why a documented history of harmful, abusive behavior gets that confirmed offender status.
It's a heartbreaking picture, and Frandsen had a connection here.
Yes, a personal connection and a paranormal investigation client, which, as the dossier notes, inhibited his direct assistance in criminal investigations.
Right, potential conflict.
But he did provide intelligence to law enforcement where possible. And this case connects directly to case #00000 and #00003.
So immediately showing it's part of a larger web.
Exactly. Highlighting intergenerational abuse cycles, substance abuse as an enabler, complex family dynamics perpetuating harm. Intervention becomes incredibly difficult. When victims become perpetrators, especially in vulnerable settings, the cycle tragically continues.
Okay, let's move to case #00000. This one is threat level 4, high threat. Formerly Idaho, Arizona, currently serving a lifetime sentence.
Crimes listed: drug use, stalking, sexual abuse of relatives and minors, assault on a pregnant woman, coordinated stalking of female victims, illegal alcohol production, documented record, currently incarcerated.
Description:
6'2", bald, possible autistic tendencies, sideburns or Fu Manchu reported, Caucasian.
This story sounds incredibly grim, too, a high ongoing threat.
It is. He's a known victim of childhood sexual and physical abuse, speculated as the root of his uncontrollable urges. Another tragic echo.
Yeah.
Disturbingly, he reportedly told his wife, if he ever went to prison, never let him out, suggesting a conscious, terrifying self-awareness of the harm he inflicted.
Wow, that's chilling.
Family severed ties after he reportedly assaulted younger nieces. Rumors of incest with a sister. He even assaulted his ex-wife just hours after she gave birth to his daughter.
Just awful. And the military involvement solidified the high threat level.
Yes, that's particularly shocking. Former Idaho National Guardsman dishonorably discharged after investigations proved he'd sexually assaulted his own daughter for years.
For years.
Discovered through a Facebook chat, traced back 7 years, starting when he was stationed in Iraq. Police suspected longer. And a chilling detail. 11 soldiers in the same platoon faced similar charges.
11. That suggests something deeply wrong in that unit.
It really does. Now he's serving a likely lifetime sentence in Arizona. Any chance of parole reportedly destroyed by his actions and continued bad behavior in prison. Sources inside told Frandsen he was caught distributing drugs, alcohol, even snitching on top gangs, which was verified.
So the high threat designation seems fully supported. Serious harm to vulnerable people, high chance of reoffending.
Absolutely. And this case connects back to hashtag 00001. He was formerly married to her, and also to hashtag 000003.
Another connection. Frandsen's involvement.
Again, personal connection inhibited direct assistance. But the National Guard charges, the prison behavior, pretty much ensure he won't be freed.
The insights here are stark, aren't they?
Vividly. Severe long-term impact of childhood trauma spiraling into violence. Widespread misconduct even within structured groups like the military. Continued danger even in prison. It underscores how past abuse can tragically fuel future harm, rippling through communities.
Okay, let's look at that other connected thread. Case hashtag 00003. This one's lower. Threat level 2. Elevated concern. Southern Idaho again.
Yes. Listed crimes, potential abuse of minors, drug distribution, but no known police involvement for serious allegations yet.
Description.
6'4" pairs, brown hair, brown eyes, heavy-set Caucasian.
So the significance here is more about the connections.
Primarily. Connected to hashtag 00001 and hashtag 00002. And here's a really stark point. The children affected by the abuse in the other cases actually said how this subject treated them made them wish subject hashtag 00002 wasn't in prison.
Wow. That speaks volumes, even without charges.
It really does. Speculated he influenced the child abandonment in case hashtag 00001, known to frequent drug dens, married to subject hashtag 00001.
And Frandsen's connection, again, limited assistance.
Right. The insight here is crucial. It shows that intricate, often hidden web in criminal networks, how individuals can enable or worsen abuse patterns even without facing serious charges themselves. Being an enabler in that dangerous ecosystem still warrants that elevated concern.
It shows how complex these situations get. Okay, shifting focus a bit, let's look at case hashtag 00008. This one jumps back up to threat level 4. High threat. Pocatello Region, Idaho.
Yes, and the listing crimes are deeply troubling. Sexual molestation of a minor, child abuse, abuse of a romantic partner, racial prejudice.
And what's really disturbing here is police were notified, but no charges filed.
That's correct, which adds another layer of difficulty and concern. Description: 6'1", 40s, Caucasian, brown hair, military buzz cut.
So what were the patterns here?
Deeply concerning ones. The romantic partner's children were kept away from family, started attempting suicide after this subject entered their lives.
Oh, no.
The full scope only came out when one child managed to sneak a social media message to Frandsen detailing the abuse, suicidal thoughts.
Frandsen got the message directly.
Yes. CPS and local police were notified, message provided as evidence, but the social worker who visited apparently believed the false persona of a happy family, a classic manipulation.
So the system failed them initially.
It seems so.
Yeah.
The child was then barred from social media but managed to sneak out a handwritten letter detailing more abuse. After this, the mother, pressured by the subject, sent the 14-year-old to a mental institution.
What? Why?
Demanding the child recant the abuse claims to be allowed home. It's chilling manipulation.
Unbelievable control. Was there physical violence, too?
Yes, towards both mother and child. And disturbingly, he taught his own son to lash out physically, convincing the boy the others were trying to make his father go away.
Turning the children against each other.
Exactly. This individual is also listed as active duty U.S. Army, and the dossier notes the region has a high number of missing children reports, Amber alerts with similar circumstances, suggesting potential police compromise.
What does compromised mean in this context?
It could mean overwhelmed, influenced, biased, or unable to act effectively for various reasons, making intervention incredibly hard for victims. And adding another layer, this subject actively advocated for Lori Valor's actions.
The Lori Valor case. Wow. That adds a whole other dimension of concern.
It does. Frandsen, having received the message, felt the personal connection and emotional intensity required him to stay distant to avoid compromising any potential investigation. And this case connects to hashtag 00009.
Okay. This case just exposes so much. Severe, hidden abuse, challenges of intervention, potential system failures, radical beliefs influencing behavior.
Yeah. It really does. A high threat operating within a deceptive, controlling environment.
And linking directly to that is case #00009. This one is threat level 5, critical threat, same region, Pocatello.
Yes. Crimes. Drug trafficking, drug use, child abuse, neglect, defrauding military benefits, reckless use of a firearm. Again, police notified, no charges filed. 5'5", mid-40s, Caucasian, brown hair, balding, morbidly obese.
And this is the partner of subject #00008.
Correct. Effectively enabling the abuse to maintain that happy family appearance. History of drug alcohol use, drug-seeking behaviors.
So actively participating in the deception and harm.
Yes. Disturbingly, she isolated her children from family when abuse concerns arose. Her own immediate family, mother, brother, sister, actually pressured Frandsen to stay silent about the daughter's message.
Why would they do that?
Fear. Fear that if reported, the subject, #00009, would permanently keep the children away from the entire family. Frandsen didn't comply, though. This combination enabling isolation, suppressing evidence, that's why it's critical threat. Ongoing significant harm.
And the specific incidents.
The daughter reported a terrifying incident. The subject brandishing a pistol during an argument, threatening suicide in front of the child, invoking the child's late grandfather to manipulate her.
Using a weapon and emotional blackmail. That's critical level, all right.
She also reportedly raided medicine cabinets for painkillers. Like #00008, Frandsen received the message, maintain distance due to connections and emotional intensity.
This case pair, #00008 and #0000. It just paints this chilling picture of an ecosystem of harm, enabling, pressure, substance abuse, manipulation, threats.
Absolutely, where the very people meant to protect are actively endangering a true critical threat situation.
Okay, let's shift focus slightly. Some cases illustrate manipulation within the communities themselves, right? Where trust is weaponized.
Yes, that's a crucial pattern too. Environments where trust is paramount are ripe for exploitation.
Like case #0004, threat level 2, elevated concern. Southern Idaho, last known Arizona. Crimes. Physical assault on multiple women, false claims of being a spiritual healer, giving false info to law enforcement, no known police involvement for serious allegations.
Description: 5'10", glasses, thin build, dark complexion, Romanian descent.
So, adopted from Romania, strong Christian background, believed he had faith healing abilities.
Right, but documented as becoming belligerent, physically violent with several young women. Charges were likely suppressed because he was a minor then. Family relocated him for protection.
But the behavior continued.
Substantiated reports suggest it did, hence the inclusion. Frandsen had a connection. The subject was on his former paranormal team, inhibiting direct assistance. The insight is critical. The danger of people leveraging spiritual claims for harm.
Using that perceived authority.
Exactly, and how patterns persist if not properly addressed. A classic example of spiritual authority used for control and harm.
This pattern of false claims also extends online and financially, doesn't it? Like case #00014, also threat level 2. Elevated concern, UK-based.
Yes. Flag for fraud, cyberstalking, cyberbullying, no known police involvement. Description: 6'3", bald, goatee, square-rimmed glasses, drives a minivan. This one shows how ego and desperation for acceptance can lead to faking psychic claims.
Trying to seem important in supernatural circles.
Precisely. He was tested by experts, even admitted falsifying claims, then resorted to misinformation to divert attention. Suspicions arose when he claimed visitations from beings associated with Frandsen's own case.
That would raise red flags.
Definitely. Frandsen brought in 4 experts. 3 determined high probability of fraud and ego, despite maybe some latent potential. Frandsen monitored, hoping it was just excitement, not malice.
But it turned malicious.
Seems so. He branched off after failed attempts to take over Bonkers network, which is legally protected. He also shows tendencies to prey on women, spreading misinformation about anyone getting attention from a female he desires, even platonically. Documented fraud and cyberbullying mean elevated concern.
And if Frandsen had personal involvement here too.
Yes. The insights. Dangers of ego, insecurity manifesting as fraud and manipulation in communities valuing psychic abilities highlights the need for critical vetting and boundaries when someone claims extraordinary powers. Vulnerable people are easy targets otherwise.
Absolutely crucial. Now, case #00001 is different.
Yeah.
Not an individual, right?
Correct. It's misuse of artificial intelligence programs. Classified threat level 5, critical threat, operates entirely online. crimes, deepfake porn, fraudulent use of voice image, financial scams.
And the legal side struggles to keep up.
Hugely. Police are notified, but cyber laws often lack parameters for these new AI crimes, making prosecution tough. This entry addresses numerous scam groups using AI.
This feels like a massive emerging threat, affecting everything, but especially how evidence is seen in paranormal fields.
It is. AI tools advance rapidly, laws lag behind, preventing damage is hard. Voice cloning is a major concern, like 11 labs creating near-perfect replicas from just 10 minutes of audio.
We're seeing scam calls using cloned voices of loved ones now.
Exactly. Investigation is ongoing into how scammers get that voice data. Image generation, deep fakes is another huge area. Creating fake porn, face swaps, terrifying potential for misuse, fraud.
Are there countermeasures?
For voice, careful listening for tones, nuances, accents. Some programs need training scripts, limiting immediate cloning. For deepfakes, detection often relies on small details, tattoos, scars, light reflections, extra fingers, though AI is getting better at hiding these. Programs try to block fake porn, but clever users find ways around it.
So tech companies need to step up.
The dossier heavily advises it. Cooperate with law enforcement on severe cases. The speed and scale demand it. In spiritual circles, the ease of faking evidence is a massive problem.
Like claiming ChatGPT talks to spirits, or faking ghost voices.
Precisely. It underscores the desperate need for public education on these tools. And the dossier provides helpful detection tools. FacianLive.com for deepfakes, 11labs.io for AI voice. Frandsen's done reports and studies on this too.
This case pivots to a truly critical threat. AI enabling fraud, harassment, impacting personal security, evidence credibility.
Yeah.
It's not abstract tech. It's a real present danger needing immediate attention.
It really is.
Okay, finally, let's look at case #000015. This one's threat level 4. High threat, located in Ireland.
Yes, and an extensive crime list. Fraud, animal neglect, cyberstalking, stalking, cyberbullying, drunken disorderly conduct, theft, child endangerment, criminal harassment. Active investigation and monitoring underway.
Description.
Late 50s, trimmed hair, obese, glasses.
And the behavior pattern.
Narcissistic, attention-seeking victim tendencies, often linked to unresolved childhood trauma. Known to exploit deaths of parents, partners to justify frequent harassment and bullying outbursts. A disturbing manipulation.
Wow, and claims of supernatural ability.
Attempts to establish dominance despite showing no genuine knowledge or ability. Spends investigations on social media. Claims to create experiments like Edison's spirit phone theory that predate her existence. Clear fraud.
And other disturbing findings.
Investigations revealed animal abandonment despite claiming to be a rescuer. Falsely claimed affairs to destroy relationships of people who offended her. Utilized social media accounts of underage, developmentally disabled individuals, incredibly predatory. Frequent association with child predators raises huge concerns.
That's horrifying, exploiting the most vulnerable.
And using live streams and private Facebook groups, common in child predation rings, to rally support from unsuspecting, often mentally disturbed individuals with no real evidence. Multiple encounters with law enforcement have likely desensitized her to consequences. This extensive harm pattern, likely recidivism, makes her a high threat.
Are there ongoing investigations?
Yes, looking for more victims. Over 30 identified, considering coming forward with evidence of abuse, threats, blackmail. Chronic alcoholism fuels the abuse.
Frandsen's involvement.
Provided assistance to a victim initially targeted concerning potential extraterrestrial involvement claims by the subject. Crucially, a public cease and desist order was issued by Frandsen and Bald and Bonkers with legal counsel to publicly call her out and try to stop further actions.
Taking direct public action.
Yes, this final case really brings together many themes. Severe narcissism, extensive crime range, exploiting the vulnerable, children, disabled, abusing social media, and the active measures needed to combat such individuals. A sobering reminder of the complex harm webs.
We've certainly covered a lot, and it's been intense. Looking back across the FrandsenFiles dossier, these core patterns really stand out, don't they?
They do. The exploitation of trust, the vulnerability inherent in communities focused on the supernatural or spiritual, the insidious nature of hidden abuse, and just the sheer range of criminal activity from fraud to severe harm.
And understanding these patterns, it's key, isn't it? For you listening, this knowledge isn't just academic. It's about recognizing red flags.
Exactly. It empowers you to protect yourself, protect others, navigate these spaces online and off with more critical awareness. Because these aren't unique patterns just to these cases. They're human patterns of manipulation and harm that can show up anywhere.
That's right. And initiatives like this dossier, they seem vital. bringing accountability to often unregulated communities, fostering a safer environment. The mission to expose, protect, inform. It continues.
So if we connect it to the bigger picture, in a world where searching for the unknown so often intersects with our deepest human vulnerabilities, what responsibility do we all bear to critically examine the claims, the behaviors of those presenting as guides or experts, especially when these patterns of harm start to emerge?
That really is the question to leave you with. Stay vigilant, apply critical thinking to everything you encounter, and let's all contribute to making any community we're part of a safer space.
Thank you for joining us on The Deep Dive.